Hi, good evening, everybody. Nice to see some people already in the house. Great to see you there. Now, as we're starting out, I'm going to mention this again later on, but I'm going to start right off the bat to let some people know that this weekend on Saturday, the Urban Gardener channel has a Let's Get Growing show that starts at 7 p.m. GMT, so our UK time, this Saturday, and it is a community show. Some people will have already seen the Urban Gardener and the channel and the Let's Get Growing show. Some people won't be familiar with that. What the community show is the host, Enoch, opens up the show so other channels who are interested in promoting themselves, being seen, maybe having a little play around with being live, can follow a link. He puts up a link and you can pop onto the show. That's where I first started. That's the very first thing that I did live, and it's a really good experience. Enoch will think of some questions to ask you, and it can be just a few short minutes to say hi. You could talk about a topic or something you're interested in, as long as it's garden related. And it's really easy. It's really fun. And if you're going with the flow and it's going well, Enoch's quite happy to give you a few minutes and a nice springboard to put yourself forward and say who you are and what you're doing. So I just wanted to say that now. I will go back and revisit this later on, but it's on the screen now there. The Urban Gardener channel, Let's Get Growing show, is at 7 p.m. GMT UK time, that is, this Saturday, and it is a community show. So if you want to participate in that, you would be very welcome to. So good evening and welcome to everybody. Again, at the beginning of the show, I'd like to say a great big thank you to Jay Dixon, who is Ecology Today in the chat, who has agreed to be my show facilitator again. She does an amazing job and appreciate everything Jay does. And she will, later on in the show, I'm sure she will be promoting your channels as well. So if you have a channel, say hi, give her a shout out, put something in the comments, and Jay will put your link up later on in the show so everybody can have a look and visit you. I'm going to go to the chat now and see who's in. Say hi. Let's see. So we have Kirsty's in. Hi, Kirsty from Heart's Humble Homestead. Nice to see you there. And Mel's in this week as well. Hi, Mel. Nice to see you here too. And hi, Eddie. Nice to see you. Finally got a notification about my live. Nice to see you, Eddie. And Eddie likes everybody to say hi. And I think that's all that's in at the moment. Brilliant. Okay. So I'm sure some more people will be showing up, and I'm sure there will be some people watching in the replay crew. So if you are in the replay crew, please leave a comment and I will get back to you. Really appreciate it. It's really important that you have your say and join in with the conversation. And it would be great, you guys in the comments, to have your say and have a chat. And if you have any questions, if you put them in capital letters or start with a capital QQQ, that's great. I will be able to spot them much easier. Now, we're going to talk a little bit to start with about my dream garden, because that's what I'm doing at the moment on the farm. That's what I'm planning and working with at the moment. And so I have a question for you guys. If you pop it in the comments, I'll have a look later, which is, what would be an absolute must in your dream garden? So I've got ideas about my dream garden I'm creating at the moment, and I'll leave that on the screen. But what would be a must for you in your dream garden? I have made some drawings of my garden, and the latest, if you haven't seen my latest video, I'm starting to create and design and shape my annual vegetable beds. and I'm working to the plan that I drew. Let's see if I can put that up to the camera so you can see it. So this is quite a large growing area. And as you can see, on the north side, which is the top, there are 5 teepees, which will be for beans. And then there are 4 large beds and 3 paths. Now I'm doing something quite different on mine because I like the permaculture idea and I like the perennial garden, but I'm bringing in some of that polyculture into my garden here. If you notice, there are lots of little tiny dots on the plan, and that's because my plan for my vegetable garden, my annual vegetable garden, is to plant in stations rather than rows. So I will either be starting plugs with something like 3 or 4 carrots in, and each of those would be a plug which will go in, or a beetroot seed which usually has multiple seeds within it to make a plug, and everything will be mixed up as long as it fits into one of those growing stations. It's a little bit like square foot gardening, so I've measured out how many planting stations and how far apart they will be and what sort of thing to plant in them. Like arranged for there to be 30 centimetre plant spacings, but I've also arranged for there to be 50 centimetre plant rate spaces as well, because some of the large things like the brassica will need larger planting stations. But let's see, is there anybody who has an idea about what they absolutely have to have in their garden? Oh, Eddie's been pretty busy spreading mulch today. This year I'm trying a deep mulch garden to try and control the weeds. Yeah, I'm doing the same, Eddie. I've last year I used cut grass and grass clippings. I had some, the last lot had gone to seed, so I've got quite a few seeds in that. So this year I'm moving over to straw. Ooh, there, and that is the video of me creating part or starting to create my vegetable garden. Yeah. Arches, I love them. Oh yes, arches. Yes, there is one thing that I love in a dream garden I haven't quite got worked out yet, and I will let you know that, but I want to see your ideas first. So would be something like a rose arch or an arch for flowers, or would you grow beans or something like that up it? There we go. Do you have a fancy arches or utility? My screen keeps going blank, which is a bit strange. So if anybody is having issues and their screen is going blank as well, let me know. I don't know what I could do about it. But there. So the other garden I've got is the perennial garden. I've drawn it on a piece of paper here. I'm not quite sure why I've put the willow dome at the bottom, but there it is. I don't know how well that shows up, but what I have there are lots of different shaped beds, really unusual shaped beds, and then each bed has 1 or 2 dominant plants in it, so either a fruit tree or a large fruit shrub, and then the plan is to have that underplanted with perennials and ground cover and lots of different bits and pieces. It's very exciting because the willow dome actually has got some leaf on it now, which leads me to think that it's rooted really well. So I'm really happy with that. What I have in the established swales are garlic cress, onions, chives, globe artichoke, raspberries. I have an aronia bush, and I do know somebody was talking about an aronia bush. It was Shawnee Groves was talking about aronia bush, and she's getting some of those. And that they are really quite odd because you put them in your mouth and they take all the moisture out of your mouth. It's a little bit like if you have an underripe persimmon. They really are astringent, so they need being creative with, like, either making a jelly or something different. Shawnee's here. I was just talking about you and your aronia berries you wanted, Shawnee. So I've got aronia berries and they are really astringent. They do take the moisture out of your mouth. So to put them in, mix them in a jelly or a jam, or use them in a way where they're cooked is best. What else do I have in there? I've got honey berries, goji berries, Welsh onions, marjoram, lemon balm, tarragon, and then I've got a whole bunch of pollinating flowers in there as well. Now, I thought Jay had a question, which is, why do I have different shaped beds? And it basically boils down to, it's completely a choice. It's excuse me. It's completely a choice. I've tried very hard to make lines and sense of the perennial garden. It's dug between two swales, so the top swale and the bottom swale are dug on contour, so they're not straight lines. And the garden is a bit of a funny wedge shape with curved edges. So to make it make sense, I've gone with natural shapes that just feel right. And I literally just looked at the space and went, what feels right in that space? And went from there, which is why all the beds are different sizes and shapes. But it's shaping up to look really nice. Okay, so those are my two vegetable gardens. Oh yes, that's what we were talking about. Blah, blah, blah. Let's turn that one off. There. We're talking about what would be a must in your dream garden. What would you really like in your dream garden? So if you have anything that you really desire and want. Now, I can say in my dream garden, I always want to have a great big pond. I've got a little bathtub pond at the moment, but I've yet to work out where to site a really nice big pond. So that's still something that's got to come. We have a comment there from Ecology. I did the same on a medium lot for a customer that gave me free rein. Yeah, I think the free form, it feels much more natural. It feels much more in tune with nature. Once it finally clicked that my mind doesn't work in straight lines and it's quite jumbly, and that actually what I'm trying to do is mimic Mother Nature, and she doesn't grow anything in a straight line. She does everything wonky. Once that clicked and I went with that, it all fell into place and made a lot more sense for me. Okay, there's another question for you guys. Are there any big plans or changes that you want to make to your garden this season? Now, I know Shawnee has loads of changes she wants to make in her garden because I watched her live streams, and she has done a lot of garden planning this year. But while you have a think about that, I've made a big change because I want to be making life much simpler, particularly in the seedlings department and growing things on. And we all have this juggling act to do at this time of year where we are bringing things in and out and hardening off. If you're that far ahead in your temperature, I know, Jay, you've still got snow. So this is how I have been coping with beginning to harden things off, ready to plant out. There you go. There is my studio, the desk I sit at. And this is how I harden off my plants. I open the doors really wide and let the outside in. So that's one of the ideas I've had to make my life simpler, which is why my studio isn't downstairs any longer. I've taken the upstairs room. And that's one of the big changes I've made, is to simplify things, because otherwise there's a lot of time taken up with taking trays in and out. Hi Debs, how are you? So Debs, we've been talking about dream gardens. I've put up some pictures or diagrams of how I'm planning out my dream gardens, my perennial plot and my annual plot. And we've also talked a little bit about the fact that I would really like a pond. And the other thing we've been talking about, I was just showing how I'm making a big change this year in the way that I'm managing my hardening off my plants, which was the video that I had just put in. But it's nice to see you, Debs. Nice to see you here. And the question that we're asking is, are there any big plans or changes that you want to make to your garden this season? So is there anything that you are changing in your garden or allotment that will make a difference for your season? That's not. More beds, vegetable beds somewhere. Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm going now with the annual vegetable garden, is just creating more growing space, particularly for the annual things. I think I'm going to get about 40 to 50 square meters of growing space there altogether, which would be really nice. There we go. Deep mulch, no dig. Yeah, Eddie, definitely deep mulch is a really good idea. I'm going as far as to use the root stout method with my potatoes. So if anybody that doesn't know the root stout method, you start your ground off with a sheet of cardboard. You water it well, and you put the compost on. If you're starting from scratch on a piece of land that hasn't been grown on before, you plant into that, and then on top of that you put really deep, between 12 and I think 15 inches of straw, and just move the straw away around the plants that you've planted, and keep the straw over the rest of it. So it's really deep. And for potatoes, you actually use the straw as mulch instead of earthing up. You just keep adding more and more and more straw. And that keeps the weeds down, and it really enriches the soil. Obviously, you have to keep topping up the straw. More room for all the tomatoes. Yes, definitely. I would love a polytunnel or a greenhouse. That would be the best. I'm going to be growing mine outdoors this year. So we'll see how that goes. Here's a look at the roof. Yes. Yes. We could take a leaf out of Rob's book and grow in the attic. We got there. Maybe some technique to get those tomatoes vertical. That would be good. I've forgotten about the outdoor tomatoes I'm doing. I need to replan my plan. Oh no, Debs. I've got a lot of outdoor girl and a few other varieties. I don't know what will do well outside. I'm assuming that outdoor girl will do really well. And I'm just going to cross my fingers. I keep seeing how people have all these amazing tomatoes in their polytunnels, but I'm sure I will get some grow really well outside. And it is an abundance of leaves with over 20 trees. It gives me plenty. Yeah, that would be really good deep mulch. With the leaves, I would shred them. Have you got a shredder as well, Eddie? Because they're flat And if they all lay flat on top of each other, what you'll get is it's tricky for the water to filter up down through. So if they're shredded and broken up a bit, that will enable the water to pass through, the rain to pass through to is going to be very good, because my plan is so simple. All I've planned is that I'm going to have a lot of sewing stations. So all those dots are different sewing stations. So I've planned out that I've got smaller sewing stations and larger sewing stations, so that whatever is ready when it comes to fill the gap will fit in that space. So I'll either have a larger space for something like a brassica, or a smaller space for a station like a bunch of carrots or a bunch of parsnips or a bunch of beetroot. I'm a big fan of the root vegetables, as you can tell. And plan some more. Always planning. I think I've sowed 80 types of micro dwarf cherry salad and beefsteak for some others. Yes. Yeah. That's the thing with tomatoes. Every time you think you're done, somebody comes up with a really amazing variety that you've not tried before. And they're like, oh, I'm doing this comment. I'm doing this tomato. Yeah, lots of chopped leaves, gold for the garden, definitely. And then abundant, as Jay is always saying, people bag them up and put on the side of the road to be taken away. What a waste. I've used a lot of leaves as mulch in the perennial garden. But I've used so many, I still could do with more. But I'm always gathering up bags of leaves and taking them down to the garden and chopping them up and putting them on the beds. Oh wow, Mel, do you grow all those? So this is Kirsty at Heart's Humble Homestead asking Mel, do you grow them all in a greenhouse? I'm guessing that many probably would fit. Let's have a look. So Deb is saying, I'm doing Legina as I want so many more paste tomatoes this year. Never done them before, though. So fingers crossed. I think, Debs, that Danny from the Grow Up channel always does Legina. I think they do really well. I think he does them in his polytunnel, but I'd have to go back and look at his videos. I'm sure that Danny always does Leginas every year. Yes, bowels loads. So this is Jay saying that 80 types of tomatoes is wow. Yes, that is incredible. I don't know what I would do with that many tomatoes. I have 230 types, so some will be in the green. So some will be in the greenhouse and some outside. So will you grow all 230 this year, or do you rotate through them and try different ones each year, Mel? That'd be interesting to know. I have crush cover and pimento to try. Okay, I hope I said that right. I've never heard of either of those. And Jay has very kindly found a link for Danny's channel at Grow Up there. You can check him out later. Oh yes, I've got those too now. Oh, Debs has those too. I've never heard of either of those. So have a look. Grushka and pimento to try. Must look those up. There we go. And Debs's link to Debs's channel. Check her out later on as well. Okay. Now, I have a question for all of you, and I asked it, and some of you have already answered this question on my actual video, but I'm going to show it and ask it again. So on one side of my vegetable plot, I am growing peas the entire length. And I have two thoughts, that I could either put cattle fencing up along there because of the small rectangular holes. They make great trellising for things to latch onto. But the other thing that would be really good for peas to latch onto is a dead hedge. My concern with a dead hedge, I'm looking for permission to make a dead hedge. That's what I'm really. It will look really beautiful, but my concern is that the peas will cling on too well and will grow inside the dead hedge, and I won't be able to get to my peas. So I want permission to grow a dead hedge, but if enough people say that's a bad idea, Joe, you won't get your peas, then I will put the not so pretty looking cat. Let's see. Mel's still talking about it. I rotate, Joe. Some of the 80 are for other people, and the Groshkova and the Plamita are paste tomatoes. That's good to know. But yeah, rotating, that's good. All right, so cattle fencing. Keeps moving there. Mel says she will definitely do cattle panel and a long time grower. So hi Stella, nice to see you. Stella, we're talking about my dream garden growing. And we're having a look at the annual veg bed, and the current topic is, should I put a dead hedge in for the peas to climb up, or should I put in cattle panel? Cattle fencing. Stella, there you go. You've already answered the question there. Cattle fencing. Yeah, I think Kirsty said the same when she commented. She was like, yeah, it would look pretty, Joe, but be sensible. Oh, what's that? Just do it. As well as sowing peas elsewhere, you stock fencing. Oh, yeah, stock fencing seems to be the. Nice to see you in. Every Wednesday at 8, I'm going to be live. So that's it. And thank you, Jay. Popped up Stella's link for her channel, and she is hitting hard this year with the planning and being organized with her sewing and her resewing. And she also has a really nice series she's doing at the moment where she's chatting for gardeners around the world. And she had Robin Gardens on her last episode, but she has covered other people from the US, one of whom was a plant tester for different varieties. She's spoken to somebody that grows in a very dry environment in Greece. People who grow in really short seasons because they're in colder areas. She's spoken to quite a few interesting people, so it's really worth checking out Stella's channel, particularly if you're interested in other gardens other than your own. I still haven't installed my cattle panel trellises. I've got to get that done. It'll be time to plant beans, cucumbers, and tomatoes soon. It will, Eddie? Yes, so Eddie's got to put his cattle panels trellises in. But you're doing really well because you've only just been able to get into your garden and get your raised beds and things and your composting. So it'll come. So what is stock fencing? So stock fencing is you buy it on a roll, and it's square panels. It's about the size holds as you would get in a cattle panel, but it's not rigid. You can get different stiffnesses of it, but it goes around the edges of fields rather than like stock panels you can tie together and use more like a sheep hurdle, whereas stock fences, it's wire and it bends a little bit. It's got a bit of flex, but that works for me because I might not necessarily always use it in a straight line. And it can hold rigid and taut if you put the posts in and tension it a little bit. And it works out much cheaper than stock panels, cattle. They would have it there. Hawthorn hedge, I had nothing go through it. The birds nest in it, and it has berries for the birds too, and it's fast growing. Yes, and I put some hawthorn Sean around my perennial garden, and I've also put trimmings from the hawthorn around the edge of my perennial garden to try and dissuade the pheasants from ducking under the windbreak, because when I have a lot, I have a Deb says that she needs to get some stock fencing to cover her beam frame. Your daily shorts are making it look like your meals are so easy. They take quite a bit of time, Shawnee, and I'm going to move on to the challenge. We're going to talk about that in a little while because it's been a little bit of a baptism. Yeah, I must type that. I must be a bit behind. Must sit that one. Yeah. So Mel says, yes, Debs, I want to do the same thing. So yeah, it's a cheaper way to get the same effect as a cattle panel. Oh, there's Sean saying hi to Kirsty and Debs, and Eddie asking how Shawnee is doing. And Jay, thank you so much, has put up the link for Shawnee Grows. And Shawnee Grows has just done an amazing live stream on how she has planned her whole garden, the seeds she's sowing, how she plans to stay on top of successional planting, and how she's going to use her beds and borders to best effect. It was really, really great. There were actually 2 live streams back to back. So she did one and then she flipped over and did another one with the actual garden plans in. So the first one was talking about the seeds she was sowing and how she organises them. I keep looking on Marketplace, don't want to pay for new netting. Debs, if you look online, it's a 50 metre roll is about £50. It's about £1 a metre. It's not as spiteful as it could be for stock fencing. But then you do have a 50 metre roll, and you probably don't want that much rocking. There we go. Yeah, it is. It would be hard to harvest peas from the dead hedge. I know. I think I just need to find somewhere else for a dead hedge to go. Get cheap farm sales. So Sean's saying that you can look up farm sales and pick things up cheap. Yes, and there's also the auction house down in Truro for Sean, and I can't for the life of me think Edward Buckland, is it? They quite often have things come up like timber that works out much cheaper to get there. Debs is saying, I know some farmers, so I'm going to go begging. That might be a good idea, Debs, because they will get to the end of a roll and it won't be any use. A 10 metre length, that they won't need it, and that'll be perfect for what you want. Thank you, Jay, again for putting up Kirsty's link for Hart's Humble Homestead. Again, if anyone wants to make or do anything, it'll be in her back catalogue somewhere, whether it's sourdough starters, whether it's jams, jellies, or different bakes. It'd be the best recipes there. I'm going to say it, the best recipes at Kirsty's channel. Yeah, good idea. It's always good to look secondhand and partially used things and save some money. You're most welcome, Kirsty. So Shawnee is saying to Eddie, I feel behind in my household duties, but I did take the kids on a field trip. Life is balance. Lol. I feel like resting remaining of the day. Do you know what, Shawnee? You go non-stop because you're homeschooling as well. You're doing so much all at once. Let me have a little look and see where I've got to. Okay, so I am. Oh, now do I do? Yeah, let's do a show and tell. So my show and tell this week, I did have a completely different one. I went on a really long road trip, and there is a reason why I didn't take any footage of the road trip and what I was doing on the road trip, and I'll get to that in a minute. But my show and tell for this week is it's spring, and I'm going to move my camera now. It is spring, and on the 1st of March, don't get too dizzy, I did this. So in there, I don't know, they're probably about 40 eggs, and they are on the cradles there, rocking away, and they will hatch. Oh gosh. So put them in last Sunday. It takes 3 weeks, so about 2.5 weeks in 3 Sundays time. So that's my little show and tell for today. My camera back where it belongs. So my show and tell is the incubator is on and running. So that's crossing my fingers and hoping. I took a bit longer to collect the eggs than I had planned because my girls suddenly went off the lay, and it took me about 10 days to collect the eggs. I like to do it over 2 or 3 days, but they weren't cooperating. So that's my show and tell for today. And then we're going to talk about the challenge and how that's going. We're looking at, see where we've got to on the chat. Come on, Joe, please tell us how it's going. Oh, there we go. Hi, Claire. It's nice to see you in. That's okay. You feed your husband and child, but thank you ever so much for showing up. That's brilliant. And then there are questions about what Stella wants to know what Claire is cooking. And my road trips, Sean says, end up with compost and dahlia tubers. Yes. And Claire has made homemade pizza. I have sourdough bases pre-made by me. Oh, yes, I like sourdough. And Claire saying, I miss hatching our own eggs. Duncan loaned our incubator out to a neighbouring farmer and they never returned it, claimed they never had it. Oh no, that's a nightmare. Oh, the one I've got, Claire, is brilliant. It was, I think it was £160. It takes up to 49 eggs. I have had really good success rates. They were posted eggs, so it's not as good as my usual hatching my own hatch rates, but I've had about 95% hatch rate. And if you're interested, message me, because it does everything. I don't even take them out and candle them. You just, it does the rocking, it does the humidity, and you have 2 trays. You fill one for the incubation period, and then you keep that one full all the time, and then you fill the second tray for the hatch period. And all you have to do is obviously turn the temperature down for the actual hatch and increase the humidity. You take them out of the rocking tray so they're still and put them on the flat tray. And I did 2 hatches in it last year just to give it a go because I got it a bit late in the season, and it's been absolutely fabulous. So if you're interested in getting another one ever, message me and I'll let you know which one. Oh, there we go. Which incubator do I have? I would, if I were just hatching a few eggs, I would go for one of the really small Brinsey ones, because they've got really good windows to see what's going on, and it's brilliant if you have children that you're educating at home to watch. And I did used to have one with big windows, but I changed it out because my big windows were drafty because I have a much larger incubator, and I found that it was really hard with the drafty bits to stay warm enough, but the humidity level dropped too much. So this one is by Barotto. It's Italian. And it's called a Real 49, and it's the swanky fully automated one that both rocks the eggs constantly so that they don't stick to the side of the eggshell, and it does all the heat and humidity adjustments for you as well. So that's the one I have. Right, I'll come back to the chat in a bit because I wanted to talk about the challenge and how it's going so far. So I have been trying to put out daily posts on this is what I ate today. I haven't included every meal I've had because I eat quite a lot. I'm quite a fatty, really. But what I found has been the most difficult thing is I did not realise how hard it was going to hit me not having tea. On Sunday, the first day, by the time I got to 7 o'clock in the evening, I had a cold flannel over my eyes, and I was laying down very quietly, very still, listening to the Urban Gardener channel on a really low volume, just sat very quietly, and it was almost a full-blown migraine. I had blotches in front of my eyes and I couldn't see straight, and I tried to type a message in just to say hello so that people knew I was there, and I couldn't even type a message, and bless Enoch did put it on the screen and say, oh, Joe says hi, and made up what he said because you really couldn't read what I'd written. It was dreadful. I honestly thought that my head was going to explode at some points. Monday was the same, and it left me feeling really weak as well. I couldn't get anything done. My brain wouldn't work. I couldn't type, I couldn't spell, I couldn't write. And yesterday I had to go on a road trip, and I did think if I didn't improve, I might have to give in and have some tea, otherwise it wouldn't be safe to drive, particularly if I still had light flashes and blotches in front of my eyes. So I thought, I don't know if I'm going to make it on this road trip. And that is why I didn't take any footage, because actually looking at the screen to take the footage was really painful. So I just didn't. So that will be a lovely surprise coming up when you find out what I did on the road trip eventually, when I go back and I actually do some filming. So that was really, really difficult for me. How it's going at the moment. The food has actually been really fantastic. I've been really surprised by the sorts of dishes I've been able to come up with. I will say that the pumpkin has been a godsend, and I have had pumpkin chips. I've made pumpkins into patties to put a burger between, and I've also made cups. Pumpkin cups, and baked them so they go crispy, like blind baked them, and then used them as quiche bases, and that was also really nice. So I've come up with some really nice food and really nice meals, and that is really going well. What hasn't gone so well is I hadn't realised how much it really lifts a salad to have a vinaigrette on a salad. So I've actually got a video of today's harvest. So this is what I got today, this morning, for today's picks. So there is bronze fennel and mint for tea. There is rosemary, hot and spicy oregano and creeping thyme for spicing. And there are a few lettuce still in the garden left over that survived the winter. Some garlic chives, some garlic cress, some shepherd's purse. So that's an adequate salad for me. And the rest of the lettuce, I didn't pick it all because they're very tiny, but if I coax it and just take a leaf from each one, hopefully they'll last a bit longer. So that was today. That's what I harvest today. Obviously I have a freezer full of meat, which is really helpful, and I've been really enjoying the cheese that I made as well. I'm just going to have a very quick look at the chat. So fingers crossed, Joe, breed the chicks. Thank you, Stella. I will need it because the other thing that happened, there were at least 2 times I forgot to turn them. So when you're storing eggs ready to hatch them, you turn them every 12 hours. And there are 2 times I missed it. So I'm a bit not sure how they turn out. We will see. And then hens, hide and seek for Joe. Claire is saying that her eldest daughter is in hospital with pre-eclampsia. I hope that turns out well for her, Claire. I hope that doesn't become a bigger problem. Worrying times. So that would be got. Can we all please like this live? Oh, yes, please. Can we all please like this live? Thank you, Stella. Good reminder. And Claire saying her road trip took her to the builder's merchant today. Oh, is this to do with the paving outside the wash house, Claire? I wonder. Yeah, same, Kirsty. We all hope that Claire's daughter recovers. And then, oh wow, that is theft, Claire. Oh, what's theft? I missed something. What have I missed there? I've missed something. Never mind. I apologise. Similar price. Didn't have space for many. Looked that it was an auto turner. Didn't candle for me. No, it doesn't. My one doesn't candle, but it just. There's no point in candling. It just, it's got such a good result. And actually, each time you open the incubator, really, if you're candling an incubator, you have to open. I only do a few to check that, there's some life there. I don't candle every single one because usually it's only. Sometimes there's one that needs to come out, but not usually. There we go. We've stopped having hens as we have so many wild waterfowl here, well over 100 Canada and grey leg geese. So we found bird flu too much risk. Yeah, that is the problem with. That's why I worry so much about the pheasants as well. So I've got bird netting over the top of a run area. Because technically the pheasants come from the farm where they do the shooting, but they live out in the woodland all year round and obviously mix with all the wild birds as well. So I do worry about that. But touch wood, so far it's not been a problem for me yet. Yes, homegrown eggs are nice. Neighbours have eggs too. It's always worth looking out on the roadside. Quite a few people do the farm gate eggs, which is nice. I am trying to catch up. I'm missing a few here because I'm trying to scout through. Yeah, it really was very grim. The headache thing, it seems to be passing now. I didn't have to have a cup of tea yesterday. I did my road trip, but in the end, my road trip took me 8 hours of driving because I was going to see Mum and there and back is 6 hours anyway, and I had to go. It would have taken an hour out of my time to go to this place, but the Google Maps was being a pain, and it kept taking me around in circles. I had to stop and reset it, so it took me an hour more than it should have. So I was 8 hours driving yesterday, which was horrible. I think we're talking about our husbands. Deb's got a cup of tea in bed this morning. Nice. I had to go cold turkey with tea before an operation. That wasn't a nice feeling out. I don't want to do it again. The J-bot shoves snacks towards starving husbands. My husband's done all right. So this is the other thing. It's really hard with this challenge. So my husband works in a school. He technically has a lunch break, but usually doesn't. He usually eats on the way between one thing and another in the corridor. So I make him lots of snacks. So I bake for him. So on the kitchen side at the moment, there is a big box of carrot cake. There's a big box of flapjack. And then in the fridge today, I made some individual cheesecake portions. So they're in like a pot. So you have to take a fork or a spoon with him to eat it. So there's a whole pile of those in the fridge. And I was making it this morning. I was saying to my son, you need to taste this and tell me what it tastes like so I can make sure I'm making it right. It was just, it was just incredible. I don't know what the cheesecake would taste like, but my son says it was nice. Claire, I am so sorry. What am I missing? So for this year, Claire, starting on the 1st of March for a year, I'm attempting a social experiment where I only eat things I produce on the farm. I'm quite lucky that I've got meat as well as vegetables, and a few things stored over from last year in the perennial garden. So I'm literally only eating things from my farm or things that I trade my produce for, but from other local producers. So one of the things that I'm really lucky to have at the moment is some cheese I've made, which is all on my channel, my cheese making experiments and fun. So I trade with my neighbours, and I trade them some eggs for a gallon of milk each week, which is the nicest thing I've drunk all week. So yeah, that's the challenge. And the social experiment of it is, first of all, making all these links with other local growers and farmers. And the other part of that is to kind of show that actually self-sufficiency is a little bit of a myth. The whole thing is, we need each other. We have to depend on each other for so much. And I kind of anticipate failing a little bit later on in the year if it gets really, really hard, but not this week. I'm not drinking tea this week. So how much coffee were you drinking, or is it just tea? So I very occasionally have a coffee. I don't really enjoy it very much. I like warm milk, and then I feel like I should be growing up and have coffee in it, but I don't really drink coffee. But I probably have, about 6 or 7 cups of tea in a day. I have to have 2 before I get out of bed usually. So I did a shot where it's like, this farmer runs on tea, and I really do. Since I haven't had it, I've had not nearly as much energy. It's very difficult to do a lot without the energy. There we go. Poor husband, feed him up, ladies. Sean, I feed my husband. I feed him cake and flapjack and lovely things. There we go. Thank you, Sarah. Claire, she's doing a year of living on only what she grows or barters for. That's it. I don't think I'd survive without my tea. Do you know, Eddie, I've been looking up. I found a fully mature tea plant, and I thought I could do that. And then I saw the price tag. I sent it. I text Kirsty. I went, Kirsty, I want one of these. It was over £1,000. was like, okay, maybe not. So she started changing up her own food. The lack of caffeine and tea did cause migraines. It was not nice. Too soft, that's my trouble. Debs, I don't think you're soft. I think you're sensible. If I had thought about it, maybe I would have stopped short at just the food. But I think sometimes if you take the hard bits out of the challenge, it's not really a challenge anymore. Yes, baked pumpkin in the oven is nice and good. I do. So I've roasted a lot of pumpkin in the oven. I've done about 5 or 6 trays because I've got to get all the way through Donald Trumpkin, the enormous pumpkin. He's about a third of the way through. So I've put lots of chunks of him in on lots of different trays in the oven and roasted him. And then some of it I've made some soup from. Some of it I've made into patties and the quiche base. Some of it I've frozen just as roasted chunks so they can come out quickly and easy. I can throw them in the air fryer, reheat them, or I can make more things from them. Also discovered that you can make really nice chips. So if you saw today's short, when I had my lunch, day 4 of #1year1challenge, you see the pumpkin chips that went with my burger and my salad. It was looking really tasty, actually. It was delicious. Oh, not doing enough bartering. I have harvested 1 million artichokes today. Well, happily send them to you, Joe. Oh, thank you. I would take those. We'll have to talk. What I can we can swap for them. Some artichoke crisps would be lovely. Oh, pumpkin cookies. Hang on. I've missed it. It zoomed. It zoomed by and I missed it. Oh, Eddie's gone. Oh, if I've missed you, I'm sorry. But if not, goodbye. Thank you. Oh. Question. Any plans to grow wheat and barley? Oh, Kirsty is the person to ask about that. Kirsty has got a great wheat experiment going on. She grew some last year, a small amount, and made bread from it. And she has a video on that. But for me, I'm not sure because of the amount of time. Because I'm starting a flower farm. It's a new annual vegetable plot. Starting up the permaculture food forest. I'm doing my permaculture PDC. There are animals to take care of. I don't know if I'm going to have time. I'm thinking I might put some wheat in because if I don't have time to do anything with it, then I can always just cut it and feed the grains to the chickens, if nothing else. Or the pigs would eat it too. And then I wouldn't have to process it. I don't know if I'd have time to process it. Don't know. No, it's not good to have a hangry. It's not good to have a hangry farmer at all. There we go. Muddy Puddles. Transform milk into cottage cheese with just 1 ingredient. So that's been a real challenge, making cheese without buying anything to go in it. So no rennet, and I had to make my own cheese culture as well, and that was quite interesting. And it's turned itself into blue cheese. So I've got blue cheese. My children said the caffeine headache from lack of tea is caused by the veins expanding in your brain. I don't know. Do you know? I don't know that it's caffeine, because if I've ever had one of these before and somebody goes, I don't drink tea, I've got coffee, have a coffee, it'll straighten you out. It doesn't do anything. Coffee will not cure it. So there's something else, I think, but I don't know what. This farmer runs tea. Oh, thank you. That's the short I was talking about. This farmer runs on tea. I really do. I have a Crown Prince to use. Oh, they are beautiful. I grew those last year, and it was one of the ones that got eaten and didn't produce anything. Donald Trumpkin, lots of nutrition. He has got loads of nutrition. I'd be short. I know that it's not the most carbohydrate-rich food, but I would have no carbohydrates with him. And Kirsty's still got 4 squash left. I think Donald Trumpkin makes up the size of 4 squash. Drink loads of chai tea, cannot get enough. My husband drinks that. Yeah, I'm not so keen. I've found the nicest thing I've had to drink has been bronze fennel with the aniseed flavour. That's been really nice. So we're on every Wednesday right now. I am running. I can see. We've been running an hour, so I want to go back to my banners because I really, really want to show this to you guys because I think some of you will be really interested. I'm thinking of Kirsty and Stella. So the Urban Gardener channel has a Let's Get Growing show at 7 p.m. GMT time, which is UK time, this Saturday. I say that because he's an American channel, and it's obviously a different time zone over there. So his show this Saturday is a community show. So if you're interested in being dabbling in going live or practicing going live or being on a live show, then this is an open invitation to anybody within the community and the viewership. Enoch is the host. He is really gracious and an amazing host. Jay Dixon also is the show facilitator, producer for Enoch as well. So you will see her over there in the chat. And it's where I first started out. So there's an open invitation to join Enoch on the live. So he publishes a link and you can click on the link and then you can be on the show, and you can be on the show literally for a couple of minutes and say, hi, this is me. I've got a YouTube channel in the UK. Whatever. You could go on and talk for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You know, this is me. I've got a channel in the UK, and I'm doing this really interesting project, which is where I started with the community show, talking about my 1 year, 1 challenge project coming up. It gives you exposure to a new audience, and it gets your name out there, and you get some really valuable insight into what it's like to be live. But dip your toe in, because Enoch is so experienced and has been doing this for so long. It's so efficient and professional that actually you can turn up and be safe in his hands and not worry too much about how it's going to go wrong, because he does all that for you. It's really good. It's a really good learning curve. So if you are thinking that you want to go on live shows, or you're thinking you do want to, look that up. I'm sure Jay will put a link in the comments. I'm absolutely certain Jay will put a link in the comments for you to be able to join that. Hi, Susan. Oh, I'm so glad that you're here. I am really pleased you're here. You made it. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Wonderful. Now I'm going to go through a little bit of the chat. I did have some more things to talk about, but I'm just going to go through a little bit more of the chat, which will give Jay the opportunity to put the link in for Enoch's show on Saturday. I've got more mods now, Joe. I can relax. Yes, I have. Thank you, Susan. I have. Jay very kindly has taken on the role of moderator or show facilitator, and that's been working really well. But thank you so much for doing that when you did. That's great. There's a question. How many people or watch hours do you need to go live, Joe? That's a good question, Sean, and the answer is 0. Absolutely 0. You could have your own channel with no followers and just decide to go live one day. There is a chap that I follow who suggests that you do it straight away from the start of your channel and just get practicing, because actually to mess up when nobody's watching is a good start, and eventually people will show up. But yeah, you can go live at any time. I would recommend not doing it straight through the YouTube studio, but to do it through StreamYard. It's really easy and free to a certain extent. I did my first one through the YouTube studio, and it was fine for a first one, but then I couldn't put things like the comments on the screen. I couldn't have banners. And it's quite a skill to learn to press all the buttons and read and think about what you're saying. And I quite often get muddled up as I do. Yeah, it's worth giving it a go. And if you ever want to, Sean, you're most welcome to join me on my show and see how it all looks on the other side of the screen with the all the workings, inner workings. So we've got, we'll be hosting the community show, It Does Not Bite. Oh, did I miss the other part of that? But yes, Stella J is a great moderator. I am so lucky to have her facilitating my show. I thank her every week. I don't know if there are enough ways to say thank you. I've had my second in the garden live this afternoon. Okay, in 5.5 hours. I think I will be asleep then, but I will definitely watch it back. I saw you had one around the kitchen table, which I've got on my queue of things to watch. Don't you need 50 subs? I don't think you do. I don't think so. But if you do, you do. But I'm sure Sean's got more than that anyway. Oh, there we go. Sure. Yeah, you do need 50. I take my words back. You need at least 50 subscribers. No minimum. There we go. No minimum subscriber requirement to stream from a desktop. That must be where I got it from. So if you're doing it on your computer rather than your mobile phone, then you can start streaming as soon as you want to. So that works. Yeah. Susan, you stream from your phone, don't you? I think. Okay, right. So I just wanted Jay to have enough time to put that link up for Enoch and the show on Saturday. I think that has been enough. And there's just one more little thing I want to show you. It's a 30-second clip. Now, this is of our favourite pig in the world. This is of Kevin, and this was him today. We actually had a gloriously sunny day, the first one since Valentine's Day. We've had dryish days, but we haven't had a glorious day since then. They had quite a nice day when they were digging over the vegetable plot for me. But this is Kevin today. This is him at dinner time, and he was feeling really lazy and sunbathing. So he was actually laying down while chewing his food. And when he wanted another mouthful, he just could not be bothered to sit up at all. And so this is how he did it. He just licked the food up. There we go. So that is one very, very...
funniest boy. I love you. You are the funniest boy.
There we go. That was him being absolutely, completely lazy. Hold on. Will you be making vinegar? I will when I can find some apples. I'm really cross at myself because I had a whole bunch of apples and they weren't quite good enough for eating, and I fed them to the pigs. And I could have made apple cider vinegar, but at that point I had decided I was going to do this challenge and thought I'll make it next year because I've got a lot going on, and I'm really cross with myself because that would have been a really useful thing to have. And the chat zoomed on. Will you be tracking your health white on the #1year1 challenge? I eat fairly healthily anyway, and all the health checks I had, because I was 50 a little while ago, the doctor gets worried and makes you do all of these checks, and they all came back no cholesterol, no risk of heart disease, no high blood pressure, no this, no that. So they all came back like I was in perfect health, which was really good to see. The one thing I did do was weigh myself before I started, so maybe that will be something that I will talk about a little bit. And generally, the only other thing I have to do to go on is how I feel. And how I feel at the moment is I really want a cup of tea. And I could swear about it, but I won't. There. I think that's because Kirsty's going to watch back the live, Susan's live out in the garden later. Kevin Bacon and I snack in a similar manner. I hope you don't lay with your head in a trough. Yes, he is a special pig. There we go. Yeah. If you did want to come on live, Sean, just message me. My email's on. I'll pop it. I can pop it up on the screen in a minute. Yes, please share 1 year, 1 challenge, especially if you see the shorts and you see something that pretty much looks delicious. There we go. It's a shame I'm not closer, Joe. I have 30 litres apple cider vinegar. Oh, Kirsty, I would trade with you. Nice to see you, Susan. Yeah. A little overwhelmed for the year ahead, Shawnee says, but 1 day at a time. Yeah, sometimes you just have to take 1 day at a time. And the thing that I like to ground myself with is we don't know how long we've got. Life is short and fleeting. And each day needs to count. Each day we need to do something we feel proud of. Each day we need to learn something. And each day we need to feel happy. And that's, life can be overwhelming, but, it was a year ago. My brother suddenly died. He had an aneurysm that nobody knew he had, and it ruptured. And he was there one day, and within a few seconds, he was gone. Nobody knew it was going to happen, but you live your life every single day thinking, this is the time I've got, this is the day I've been blessed with, what can I do with this day? And that's the only way, really, to live our lives and get through our lives. When we think about the events in the world, I was on my permaculture course on Saturday, and there was a gentleman that was in our peer group, and he said, I am really sorry, I don't know what's going on, there are sirens going off, and we've got all sorts going on, and I don't know what it is. And he was in the Middle East, and he went out onto his balcony, and there were rockets flying overhead, and that was the airstrikes happening live in real time. He goes, I don't understand. He goes, he wasn't on one of the countries that was targeted, but they were flying over him. A lot of them were intercepted. He said the interceptors are taking them down. But it's just like things can happen suddenly and change suddenly, and we just never know where life is going to take us. So 1 day at a time. Just check the day you are on. I cannot play a keyboard. It would be live from my phone. Okay. Talking about the lives. And Susan has gone. Now I'm going over time, so I am going to say goodbye to everybody. True tomorrow's promise to no one. Yes. There we go. Jay put up my email. So if you want to email me, Sean, feel free. In fact, anybody who would like to have a go at being on my live, feel free to email me. And I am going to say thank you very much, everybody, and goodbye, because I've been trying to say goodbye for a little while, and I keep thinking of another thing to say, but I think it really is time to say goodbye now. So take care, everybody. I'm back again live 8 p.m. next Wednesday, and there'll be more shorts out for you to see the food I'm eating all week, and hopefully more on the vegetable plot and the vegetable garden. Take care. Bye now.